At Great Wolf Lodge, there's adventure for the whole family. You and your pack can splash away in the indoor water park where it's always 84 degrees. There's a massive wave pool, a lazy river, and tons of water slides for your pack to enjoy together. And the fun doesn't stop there. Get ready to explore and play at adventure-packed attractions from Magi Quest, a live-action game that takes place throughout the lodge, to the Northern Lights Arcade. There's also a bunch of great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. And the best part, with 23 lodges across the country, you're always only a short drive away from adventure. I am so excited to visit Great Wolf Lodge with my nephew who's 6. He cannot wait for the water park. So bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Book your stay today at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Crone, here with the brilliant Brie Tucker.
Why, hello, buddy. How are you?
So this podcast is for moms who feel overwhelmed, underappreciated, and stuck managing everything for their families. We want you to know that you are not alone. And in this podcast episode, we promise that you're going to walk away with doable strategies to reclaim your time, your energy, and your joy. And in this episode, we're talking about overfunctioning.
Overfunctioning!
It's so interesting. Overfunctioning. When I first learned of this term, everything made sense to me in terms of the relationships I've seen, such as my parents' relationships, such as the relationships that have been portrayed on TV of how a mom should act. It was in Dr. Tracy Dalgash's book. Her book is so interesting and I so want her on. But she describes couple counseling and how in relationships, there tends to be an overfunctioner and an underfunctioner. And typically the overfunctioner tends to be the woman who is taking care of all the things, making all the plans, setting all the appointments.
That's what we've always been raised to do.
Exactly. It's what we've seen, which then allows for an underfunctioner who just sits back and doesn't do much of anything, nor do they really put themselves in that place of, hey, I'll do that. They just stay back and underfunction.
Wait, I can think of a perfect example for everybody listening. If you're not quite sure if this episode is for you, if you've ever had a Christmas morning where your spouse was just as surprised as the kids to see what was wrapped up under the tree, you are an overfunctioner.
That's a funny example because in my family, I'm the one who's surprised with what's wrapped up and under the tree.
Well, but you got to that point.
Yes, I did get to that point. I got to that point.
Yes.
And it's actually a really, really nice point to be at. And stereotypically, we're talking about if husbands are allowed to underfunction and they get to experience that, I can understand why they will continue to underfunction because it's
beautiful.
Sweet. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful life of underfunctioning. So
So stay tuned for the rest of this episode because we're going to help you recognize why it shows up, especially for moms. And you're going to walk away with 3 habits that you can ditch immediately to get your time and your sanity back. So let's get on with the show. So Brie, let's talk about this overfunctioning. Like I have definitely been guilty of it. Have you?
Oh God, yes. I think that there's lots of different terms for it. When you said overfunctioning to me, when we were having like a meeting, I was like, wait, I don't know if I would call it overfunctioning. And I wasn't quite sure what you meant. But when you talked about it some more, I'm like, oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. And overfunctioning, I think, is a very good word for it. It's just not one that we use commonly.
Mm-hmm.
So one that I hear, and I have been accused of myself, is mothering. And it's not meant in a nice way.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be clear, people, mothering can be a nice term. It's like bless your heart.
Yeah.
Right? Bless your heart. That was so sweet. And oh, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell there's a difference there. I think that when it comes to like the overfunctioning, mothering, when it's been said to me, it's like you're trying to fix the situation that doesn't require you to be fixing it.
Can you think of an example where that term has like been used?
Well, everybody in podcast land, on occasions, Joanne has told me, stop mothering me, Brie. I got this because I have a tendency to try to fix things for people. I hate people being unhappy, uncomfortable, whatever. Right.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, there's a couple times where, like, you've told me about something that was going on and I tried to fix it. And you had to be like, Brie, stop mothering me. I got this. And I'm like, okay. But I mean, it's not just that. I've been told that by my husband. I've been told that by my kids. And I think even on occasions, like when I was like working with my teams, being like a manager in different roles, occasionally I would take on so much that they would expect me to. So then, like, the staff would kind of start to underfunction. And then
Yeah.
you would get a little mad because you're like, why am I the one doing everything and nobody's even trying? Well, that's
Yes.
because they know Bree's going to step in, even if they try.
Even if they try, so what's the point of doing it? I used to do that with my husband because he would work late. And so I just took on everything. I took on the dinner. I took on getting the kids ready for things. I took on taking them to all the kids' activities. Anything that had to be done in the afternoon, I took it on without
Yeah.
even asking him about it. And so, like, he didn't even have a chance to contribute because I had already done it. And I was getting super resentful, super mad all the time. And I think that's when all of these phrases come up with, I feel unappreciated.
Yeah.
You don't care about what I do for you.
Yeah. Everybody just expects me to do it all.
Yes. But really, who expects you to do it all? You probably. I know I did. I expected me to do it all.
I feel like there is a stigma out there for women,
Mhm.
especially for moms, that we need to drive our family.
Yeah. Like you're the boss of the family.
Yes.
Be the CEO.
And if you are a mom who is home more often than out of the home, then I think you get this extra unsaid, because I bet a lot of us, if we really went back, we're like, wait a minute, nobody actually said I had to do everything. It was just, I expected I should. I
Mhm.
assumed my partner expected I should. So I just do it. So we feel like we almost have to earn, like we feel this like drive to be doing all the time.
Mic drop. Yes.
Right. And then there's a flip side to it. If you are out of the house as much as you're home, or you're out of the home more, then when you're home, you feel like a lot of times you have to make up for having been gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a double edged sword. You can't
Yeah.
win either way. Either way, you can't win, regardless of your situation. And some of it is perpetuated by our society.
Hmm.
Seeing TV shows, I say TV shows, it's like streaming now, but we grew up with this on TV. Seeing like the Claire Huxtables of the world or the Home Improvement Mom or
Yeah. I was thinking of her, Jill. I can't remember the
Jill,
last
it
name,
was
but yeah.
Jill, handling all the things. And then also seeing the super mom narrative kind of perpetuated, like, oh, I don't know how you do it all. And it's like, oh, I'm like just little one task short of a mental breakdown. That's how I'm doing it all. Like,
Right.
yeah.
So, like, that's the other thing, is that we're living up to the criteria that we feel has been passed down to us.
Hmm.
We might know it's unfair to some extent, but we also go, I can't change society. I can't personally make that big ripple effect. So then we just kind of put our heads down and we're like, okay, I'll just do my best.
Yeah.
And then doing your best in this over functioning role
Yeah.
leads to burnout, leads to resentment,
Hmm.
leads to unhealthy relationships with others in your family, as well as your kids seeing this and perpetuating it. So if you think you can't have a role in it, oh, yes, you can.
Yeah. It's called being a cycle breaker. I've heard this term used a lot. And
Yeah.
it's a really hard thing to do because we saw it from our moms happening. They're constantly on the go, have a hard time resting. And then when we try to change the narrative for ourselves, we don't have any examples to go from. I believe that you have to see it to be it. And we're making that model for our kids so they see it, but we don't have anything to see to be. We're kind of like making it up as we go along because we've never witnessed how this looks like in
Yeah.
everyday life.
Can we also just acknowledge that there's also a big push culturally right now for women just to embrace being a mom and a spouse and that be our highest ideal in life
Trad
and that
wives
bring us
and the MAGA party. Let's call them out. That's what they're doing.
just saying I don't think it's healthy. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't love being a mom or a spouse. That's awesome. That's great. But that doesn't mean that you are responsible to do everything all the time, all
Yes.
the things all the time. And I think that's where we get stuck, right?
It is where we get stuck doing all the things all the time. And I witness a lot of women in my own life who stress themselves out. I mean, one of our friends has 4 kids and 4 different athletic activities and is running
God bless
everywhere
her. We
all the
love you.
time. We love you. We're worried about you. We want you back out of all those activities.
I want you back. Da, da, da.
It's just hard to break the habit. So, coming up next, we're going to talk about something a little bit deeper because we could talk about all this overfunctioning and how it affects you. And you might be thinking, oh, yeah, but I'll handle it because it's for the good of my family. Actually, it's not. And we're going to talk about how the overfunctioning affects everyone else right after this. At Great Wolf Lodge, there's adventure for the whole family. You and your pack can splash away in the indoor water park where it's always 84 degrees. There's a massive wave pool, a lazy river, and tons of water slides for your pack to enjoy together. And the fun doesn't stop there. Get ready to explore and play at adventure-packed attractions from Magi Quest, a live-action game that takes place throughout the lodge, to the Northern Lights Arcade. There's also a bunch of great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. And the best part, with 23 lodges across the country, you're always only a short drive away from adventure. I am so excited to visit Great Wolf Lodge with my nephew who's 6. He cannot wait for the water park. So bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Book your stay today at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack.
If there's one thing I know as a parent and early educator, it's that kids crave structure and not always the same kind for every kid. I had one who thrived in a back to basics setting and another who struggled every step of the way.
Yes, kids are different. That's where K-12 powered schools shine. They give your child a daily schedule, certified teachers, and tech-powered tools that keep them focused while letting them learn at their own pace in their own place.
And beyond those lessons, K-12 helps students build real world skills and confidence. They have online clubs, social events, and learning experiences that are built around your student.
So join the more than 3 million families who have been served by K-12 and empower your student to reach their full potential now. Go to k12.com/ngm today to find a tuition-free K-12 powered school near you and enroll now. That's the letter K, the number 12.com/ngm. k12.com/ngm.
Let's be real, guys. Money fights are the worst. And trying to have a calm, civilized conversation about money, yeah. Don't even get me started on the feelings of shame and guilt that so many of us women feel around spending.
Oh, I know, but Monarch Money changes that. It takes out the unknown factors that can cause those fights and feelings. You can track shared and individual accounts, set goals together, and keep those money check ins drama free. And I love that you can even loop in a financial advisor or tax pro without paying any extra.
So, no more guessing, hiding, fights, or just hoping it works out. Monarch Money makes it easier to be on the same page.
Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use code NOGUILT at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code NOGUILT. So a lot of times when we talk about moms, we give them this higher status ranking of like super mom, the mom who's able to do everything and keep it all together and have the career and have the family life and have the kids who never misbehave and all of these things. But by doing that, I think it's really a detriment to everybody else around the mom as well as the mom herself. We've already talked about though how it hurts us as women doing this. So let's shift the narrative into how does it affect the people around you and your
Right.
relationships?
Because if you're listening to this episode and you're going, okay, yeah, I'm a hustler. I might be somebody who's quote unquote over functioning, but I'm showing my family I love them because my love language is acts of service. Hello, that is 100% Bree's love language, acts of service.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, so I'm showing everybody that I love them. And I know that I don't have to do it, but I'm doing it to show my love. We want to just take that statement and that belief you're holding on to, and we want to just shift it slightly and show you some other perspectives of it.
Yeah. Because, for instance, there was a situation I was in when I was in PTA long time ago, and I had volunteered to run all the restaurant fundraising nights. And there was one mom on PTA who always volunteered to help with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll help you out. Oh, I'll help you out. Oh, I'll help you out. And there was a situation where I couldn't make it to the copy room to make copies to get the pamphlets out to advertise like this McDonald's thing. And so she's like, oh, I'll help you out. I'll make the copies. Well, instead of just helping me out to make the copies, she redid the entire work I did on that slip as well. Like she redid the wording. She told me like, oh, this is better. This is worded better. You're welcome. I fixed it for you.
Ouch!
Yes.
Ow! And I already know this story and it still hurts.
And I think she did it from a good intention place. I do.
Yeah.
But I was also really pissed off because I'm like, why am I even here?
Right. I think that's spot on because I do think 100% her goal was not to insult you.
No.
It was to be a bigger help. But she literally robbed you of all the time, energy, and effort you had put into that.
Yeah.
She took it away and said, yeah, this isn't good enough. I'm going to fix it.
Basically.
And that's not what she meant, but that is exactly what was done.
Yeah. And I think this good enough narrative really plays out in other situations too. We talk about weaponized incompetence, for example. Yep. And I know that on the other side of it, no one in my family likes how I load the dishwasher. And when I say no one in my family, it is my husband and my son.
And your teenage daughter's like, fine with me.
My teenage daughter's like, whatever, things go wherever. She's more like me in that respect. I think we drive him crazy. And my husband in particular, every time I put a dish in the dishwasher, he would just reload it and put it in another place in the dishwasher. And so pretty soon I'm like, why am I even doing this? I'm not going to do it anymore. And I just gave up the role because there's such a thing that if you feel like you were never doing anything right, you stop trying.
Yeah.
You can't win.
You do. What is the point of putting in the energy and effort when it's all said and done? I'm going to feel like I didn't do enough, that my work isn't good enough for people that I love.
Yeah. And let me say something a little bold here.
Oh,
I think a lot of moms are doing this.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes.
I think that this is happening. And it's a hard truth to hear because there's all the complaints like, oh, my husband doesn't do a chore like I want him to do it. They don't do the task right. I have to come in and redo it. And I want you to step back a little bit and think about what it means to that other person when they're told all the time that they're doing it wrong. They're doing it wrong.
Or you're not telling them that they're doing it wrong. Because
Like
I think that's the other piece, right? Okay. So I will say that I will at least start with this caveat, guys. My whole family knows that we are allowed to call each other out on our shiznit at any point in time in our household. So I feel confident. And actually, my daughter calls me out on it the most. My husband would be the second, and my son is the third. Mm-hmm. And it's only because he splits his time between his dad and me. So, but my daughter's around all the time. So anyway, going back to my point, if something's not done right, I've asked somebody to do it. I have two examples. Let's start with a chore. My daughter is supposed to clean her bathroom. Okay. I went in there the other day to like drop off some shampoo or something I had bought for her. And I was like, ew, this bathroom is disgusting. Hey, Audrey, you're in charge of cleaning the bathroom. Why does it look like this? And she's like, I cleaned it. And I'm like, it looks disgusting. She goes, I'm supposed to be cleaning the bathroom. It is clean enough to my standards. And I'm like, all right, as long as we both understand. And she stopped me right there and spoke over me and said, that if anything is like really bad, like there's a ring on the toilet or something like that, I'm in charge of figuring out how to clean it. You're not going to come in and do it for me. And I'm like, yes. You know what I did after that? She
Huh.
left to go to work. I went in and cleaned the toilet because I
Oh,
couldn't stand it.
Bree!
I couldn't stand it. And so she comes home and she's pissed. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
Why, Mom? I had a plan. She goes, can you just trust my plan? I saw it as the toilet's bothering me, not her. So I'm going to clean it.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw it as I don't trust her word and I
Mm-hmm.
don't trust that she's responsible.
Yeah.
That was not what I was trying to put out there at
Yeah.
all. But I can see it. Yeah.
The after effect of it. And it's not what any of us are trying to put it out there. And being called on our ship by our family members hurt. It
And a
hurts.
toilet at that. I don't like clean. Okay, let me just be clear. I was traumatized as a child. And I
Yeah.
do say that very jokingly. I was in charge of cleaning the bathrooms in our house and having to clean. Okay, we have all women except for obviously my dad, and having to clean up after a man on the toilet. No, I'm like,
No.
how does pee even get in those spots?
Oh my gosh. I could not even. I would be like, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah, so for that reason, I hate bathrooms and I hate cleaning bathrooms. And that's why I gave her the be in charge of your bathroom because once she moved in here full time, I'm like, thank God, because I can't stand cleaning up after your brother.
All the trauma that comes with the reason we do things the way we do. There's always a backstory about why it's this way. And there's probably a backstory with you listening right now. There is a reason you're overfunctioning, and it's not because of some personality flaws, because of everything that's happened before in your life.
Right? Yeah. We step in because we think that we're being helpful, but we've talked about this before on the podcast if people have listened for a while. But I mean, you're going to 100% be like, heck yeah, once I say this, Joanne. We absolutely love the book Gift of Failure.
Yeah.
Jessica Leahy. She was on the podcast a couple of times. Absolutely love her work. And we fully believe in that. By not letting people try things, how are they ever going to figure out what works for them and what doesn't?
Yeah. Because there's only so much you can tell people, but if they don't experience the failure, it's never going to stick. I mean, I didn't know the real reasons behind having to have an oil change in my car until
Yeah,
I
until.
ruined my car as a 19-year-old. And I have to say, like, I am very on top of car maintenance. Now, you may think of that and be like, oh my gosh, Joanne, well, you ruined a car and you caused so much like money for your parents and da da da. And that happens. Yes, with kids, that happens. It was an old car. They inherited it from my grandma. There was more emotional sentiment attached to it than anything else. And I felt like really
Yeah.
horrible about it. But part of that learning process was feeling really horrible about it. And I think that sometimes we try to prevent our kids from feeling those horrible emotions and feelings.
We do.
That's the
Yeah.
way you grow, is feeling horrible, getting through that horribleness, deciding that, oh, I'm going to do things a little bit differently from now on because I
Yeah,
don't want to feel horrible. Like,
exactly. Okay, I have another story. Shall I tell them about what happened yesterday in my office?
oh, yeah.
Okay. So, both my daughter and I had a gift of failure yesterday.
Yeah.
Long story short, you guys have heard me talking about the puppy on the podcast. We have a puppy in the house. My daughter got a dachshund, dachshund, whatever you want to call it, but she got one of those little puppies. And the puppy is now 7 months old, I think. And we had a weird day yesterday where nobody was home. Normally, at least one of us is home. And I told her to put the dog in the kennel, but she didn't want the dog in the kennel for like the whole day.
Mhm.
So her and I were talking, and I felt bad as well. So I wanted to make her happy and not feel uncomfortable about her puppy being in there. So I'm like, all right, put the puppy on the first floor, which is my office.
Yeah.
Put the gate up, leave the puppy down there with Max, our other dog. It should be fine. It'll only be like 4 hours, right? My daughter sends me a video 4 hours later of my office, 5 books eaten by the puppy.
Gosh.
I had like a notebook that had like all of my training from my life coaching certification eaten. He tore up Max's bed. It was awful. It was terrible. I have never seen such destruction in my life.
Those puppies, man.
Oh my God. And I turned off that video before I got to the end of it because I was just so pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I guess I'll never make that mistake again. I will never say that dog can stay out of its kennel. And then later in the day, I go back to watch the video to show it to my husband. And at the end, I hear my daughter say, I'm really, really sorry. I have learned my lesson. I will never suggest leaving him out of his kennel again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, both of us had to get through that gift of failure because the whole reason it happened was I was over functioning. I wanted to make her happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was taking on the mental load of trying to figure out a place that dog could go that wasn't in his crate.
Yeah.
So now I'm mad at myself too. I knew that was going to happen.
When you like make those mistakes and stuff and you do overfunction and it ends up getting to you, it's hard to distinguish who you're mad at. And usually when I do it, I get mad at myself and it's all an internal monologue. That's like, oh my gosh, you are such a horrible person. How could you be so stupid? And that happens, I think, in all of our heads. It really does. And so it's twofold. But like when you overfunction, it affects the other people in your life too. And it's one thing that we didn't talk about is like the doing so much at home that no one else has the opportunity to step in. When you do so much and you do it so fast and you do it so well that no one even has the opportunity to be like, I'll do that for you because it's already done.
Yep.
Overfunctioning hurts you with the stress levels and it hurts people around you. So now coming up next, we are going to give you 3 things you can do to stop overfunctioning if you feel that we have just described you throughout this whole episode. That's coming up next.
So good, so good, so good.
Ready to rack to school and save big? Get to your Nordstrom Rack store today for thousands of deals from just $20.
Because I want to look fresh.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
I got a new backpack.
Score everyone's favorite denim, sneakers, boots, and activewear from Nike, Levi's, Steve Madden, Madewell, and Free People. Great brands, great prices. Everyone's got a reason to rack. Shop Nordstrom Rack and make it the best school year ever.
Everyone who works at Starbucks, full or part-time, gets stock in our company, simply for being part of our company. That's why we call our employees partners, because when Starbucks succeeds, our people do too. And that success turns into down payments, family vacations, and so much more. At Starbucks, benefits like company stock are just the start. Learn more about how we support partners at starbucks.com/partners.
On top of building this fake volcano for months, I give my daughter Smarty Pants vitamins to support her brain health. So her science fair project sounds more like and less like. And while I may say it's not a competition, of course it's a f***ing competition. Choose Smarty Pants vitamins to support your kid's brain health and save the science fair. Shop on Amazon, smartypantsvitamins.com, or at Target today.
All right. So if you feel like you need a vacation after your weekend home, you might be overfunctioning.
Yeah.
And here are a few things that we think you should just throw out the window, stop doing right now. All right, guys? Number 1, and this is a big one that so many of us are guilty of.
Mm-hmm.
Stop treating rest like it's a reward.
It's so interesting because the whole rest thing, we both see therapists and you always have to fill in that form every time you go to a meeting. It's like, and I forget how the question's worded. It's always like, do you feel so restless that you have a hard time sitting still?
You can't sit still.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that goes hand in hand with this treating rest like a reward. Because honestly, I'm supposed to rest. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so uncomfortable for me. I don't know how to do that.
See, okay, so that is interesting about the two of us, right? Because yes, I have noticed that about you. We both have the same end result, but we have a slightly different path we take to get there. And mine is I feel so guilty when I'm resting, but I do rest. I just don't get to enjoy my rest because I'm sitting there telling myself sometimes, God, you're lazy. You should be up doing something else. You could be doing this or this. Oh, yeah, you got to make that phone call and you got to schedule that thing. And it would only take 30 seconds.
Where do you think that came from?
I think a lot of that actually comes from that ADHD type thought process of just get up and do it. Just get up and do it. And your body's like, I ain't moving.
Yeah.
So, and we were talking about this too, I think, with our episode with Vanessa the other day about how we treat so many basic needs like rest or food, or in my case, even peeing, like it's a reward. I'll be like working and I'm like, let me just finish this sentence and then I'll go pee. And I'm shifting around in my seat. Or I'll not eat because I'm like, oh, I don't want to take the time to like cook something or to like even heat up a hot pocket because I got to get this done or I got to do XYZ and I want more time. No, you deserve basic needs such as rest
And peeing.
and peeing
Yes.
and eating.
And eating. Definitely like all of the things. And rest can also be an active rest. That's something that I learned a few years ago. And we actually had the author of this. He was one of our first guests. He wrote that book, Rest. It could be like doing a creative activity. It could be like, I like to do Pilates and work out.
Yeah.
Even though some people say workout is not rest, it is kind of rest for me because it's like cool movements and challenging my brain in a different way than I'm usually challenging it. So that's how I like to see rest. Doing something else. Going to concerts is rest. Going on a trip somewhere is rest. Not a trip that I plan everything for. It's more like a trip I take with friends. Going to happy hour is a rest activity.
Yeah.
So you don't have to look at rest as something that I have to sit there and do nothing because honestly, I can't.
You know what? I think that that's a really good restructure there for sure.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing we want to articulate is you should protect that rest the way you protect other things on your schedule.
Yeah.
If you have scheduled time or you have an activity that you want to do that's like important to you, it's fun to you, it doesn't feel like work, it feels like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Don't push it aside because it's inconvenient for somebody else in the family. Your rest time deserves just as much attention as the PTA meeting, as the parent-teacher conference, as whatever else comes up.
Yeah. So if you're scheduled to go on a girls' night, but you have work to do, don't reschedule.
Yes. Okay, what's number 2, Joanne?
Stop saying yes without checking your capacity. So, we're asked to do something, and of course, we want to make everybody happy. And so we say, yes, we'll do that. Yes, we'll do this without really seeing, do I have time to do this? I mean, like I'm struggling with it now with a volunteer organization I'm a part of. They need help with stuff, and I want to be the one to help, but I don't know if my capacity can handle it right now. And sometimes I think, oh my gosh, if I only organize things better. This is something that we tell our balance members about, this evil voice that tells you if only I organize things better and how it's not true.
Or the next organizational thing around the corner is what's going to work.
Yes, I know to tell you that because that voice is in my head constantly berating me for not being organized enough. And if I could just fit things in, if I see my daughter's planner and I honestly want to pull my hair out, she has things so nicely written and color coordinated, and that is not my brain at all. So don't worry about saying no so much if you are going to be the tired, resentful version of yourself when you say yes.
And you know what? To add on to that, the little cherry on top, I'm going to share with you guys what my therapist told me this week in therapy about checking your capacity. Your capacity can also be your emotional capacity. So like I was just telling Joanne, we have a group, we get together and do happy hour. And I was just telling you before we started this that I was having a rough week. I've had a lot of things that have like emotionally tapped me and I just don't have anything left. So I was like, I hate to tell you this, but I'm not going to make it to happy hour tonight. I have to say no for my sanity.
Yeah.
I can't take on socializing right now because I have nothing in my cup.
Yeah.
There's nothing left in there. So your capacity is both your time and also your emotional capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind.
It's true. It's true. If you don't feel like you can make it through, don't do it.
And if it's not a heck yes right off the bat, something that can give you some time is like, that sounds great. Let me get back to you about that tomorrow, next week, on Friday. Because things can sound great. Doesn't mean you have to do it.
Because then when I have time to think about it, that urgency that I have to say yes to make this person happy diminishes. And I'm really able to be like, does this fit in with everything I want to do right now? And so, most of the times it does not, unfortunately.
And I feel like it gives you time to put together that answer the way that you want to put it together.
Yep. And you can also consult ChatGPT on how to put together that answer. That's what I
can.
do a
You
lot.
can.
A lot. ChatGPT helps me think through a lot of things.
ChatGPT is fantastic. All
Yes.
right. So, number 3, our last thing that we think that you should stop doing right now, if any of this has resonated with you in this episode, stop confusing busy with valuable.
Yeah. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean it's valuable.
And you are still you, and you're still amazing, and you're still this awesome person that your friends still love, that your family still loves, even if you're doing less.
Mm-hmm.
They all still love you. Yeah.
And then they have the opportunity to come in and help you.
Yeah.
Because when you're busy all the time, no one can step in and help. And it honestly, like helping someone else, we all get a little buzz, I think, from helping someone, knowing that we were truly helpful. And that is something that our family does not get to experience if we're overfunctioning ever.
Yeah. They're used to you taking it on.
Mhm.
And if you are going like, okay, Joanne Brie, I hear you. You've convinced me I'm overfunctioning. But if I stop now, cold turkey, the whole family will fall off the rails. The whole family will.
Yeah. We might need to investigate that comment a little bit into what falling off the rails looks like.
Yeah.
And see exactly what is being pictured in your head when you say fall off the rails. Lots of questions on that one.
I would say it's a good conversation to have with somebody else.
Yeah. That's what we do in coaching and balance. Because a lot of
Exactly.
people come in and they're like, oh, like I have this issue. And upon further questioning, it all comes out, all of the fears. Because mostly when you are starting to do something new, and especially in this overfunctioning thing, when you stop doing the things, there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of emotions that are associated with it. So many. And it's usually those emotions that are driving your behavior instead of like what is actually right and what needs to be done. And when you can identify those and be like, I feel a lot of guilt, I feel a lot of shame for doing this, we can put those in a separate box and be like, okay, so there is guilt and shame there, definitely. Then you're not alone in it. So many others feel guilt and shame, and you're in pain having to take this away. So let's just acknowledge that right now and think about one small little step forward that you can do.
Yeah.
To get you into the direction you want to.
I also think having the conversation with somebody else helps them question your line of thinking. And what I mean by that is, and again, like I'm going to take this back to conversations, the joys of being best friends. We talk all the time about everything. So like, I know like you and I have had conversations where I'm like, but I can't do this because XYZ is going to happen. And you're like, how do you know it's going to happen? And I'm like, because I've been doing it the whole time. And if I stop doing it, it's all going to fall apart. And you're like, but what if it doesn't? You kind of need somebody to sort of help battle that voice in your head.
Yeah.
Because the voice in your head is talking already for you. You're going to go, yep, you're right. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yep. But sometimes you need somebody else to be able to go, well, wait a minute.
And because of that, we actually, it's very exciting, have a new course coming out here at No Guilt Mom, because we've seen this so much in both our balance members and you when you reach out to us through the podcast, but this feeling that you have to do everything in your house and that no one is stepping up to help you. We have a plan on how you can step back and get your family to step in. It's called Family Team. And you can go look at the link that we have for you in the show notes, but it is at noguiltmom.com/family-team, TEAM. All the info is there. We'd love to have you join us for it because this is going to be the live beta version of the course where I'm teaching it live 4 days during the week. And we'll also have a group going on. So I'll be available to answer any of your questions and especially like how it relates to your exact situation. Because there's so many times when people read something, and I do this too, and I'm like, yeah, but this is what's happening in my family. This doesn't apply.
The yeah buts. Yeah.
Yes.
There's always a lot of yeah buts.
So I'm going to be there as your coach. So this is why it's great to get in Family Team right now, to get in when I am available to you. And it also helps me create something that is going to serve everybody because you ask the questions and then it gets redone and everyone else is better. So you do a solid to every other mom out there struggling with this as well.
Yep. So remember, overfunctioning isn't noble. It isn't an award. It's actually exhausting you and probably robbing your family of experiences that they could have. We can't pour from an empty cup, people.
Nope.
And doing more doesn't make your value higher.
No.
You are an amazing person without doing everything all the time, everywhere.
Yes, absolutely. So until next time, remember, the best mom is a happy mom. And you are not happy by doing everything. You're not. So take care of you, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for stopping by.
If you'd like to support the show further, you can share episodes with your loved ones, leave a positive review, or follow us on social media at No Guilt Mom. You could also show your love by visiting our amazing podcast sponsors. We have a link in the show notes.